The Blood Judges are a loyalist Space Marine chapter originating from the Blood Angels during an unknown founding. It is suspected that the chapter was created during the first 300 years of M36, meaning that they could have originated between the 14th and 20th founding. The chapter's fortress monastery, known as the Fortress Tribunal, is located on the highest level of their home world, the hive world Purgatorius. The planet has two inhabitable and flourishing moons, called Eden Primus and Eden Secundus, that are used along with the hive world itself for recruiting new marines into the chapter's ranks. However, the Blood Judges do not recruit from the common citizens of their planets and moons, but from the agents of the Adeptus Arbites that watch over them. In fact, due to the great amount of criminal activity and the chapter's zealous wish for justice, both Purgatorius and its moons host a number of arbitrators far greater than is usually seen on other worlds. The aspirants are chosen through a challenge known as the Bloody Descent. The participants will have to reach the lowest and most insidious levels of the hive world, while they'll have to hunt down as many criminals as possible, take their heads as evidence of their deeds, and after 30 days from the start of their contest, head back to the ceremonial hall, where a jury comprised of 3 of the chapter's librarians will read the minds of the returned participants to ensure there are no dishonest tricks used during the challenge. The ones considered honest and with a worthy number of trophies will be brought back to the Fortress Tribunal and undergo the process to become neophytes of the chapter, while the ones with an insufficient number of heads will go back to their role as arbites, with the consolation of knowing that they are one of the best arbitrators on the world. The ones who are found guilty of cheating during the challenge are taken away to be turned into servitors, but not before having their names added to the Archive of Sin, where the name of every criminal, sinner and heretic known by the chapter is written to be remembered with the greatest of contempt. Once the winners of the competition are brought to the Fortress Tribunal, they will spend the next day learning tales of the Primarch Sanguinius by one of the chaplains, who will introduce them to their new father. The recruits will then be offered to drink from the chalice of blood that will make them fall into a coma, ready to be entombed into the chapter's sarcophagi, and endure the process that will turn the already capable arbitrators into some of the Emperor's finest warriors. During this period of time, the soon-to-be Marines are implanted with the chapter's gene seed, which is very similar to their progenitors, afflicting the Blood Judges of the curses of the Red Thirst and Black Rage, just like the Blood Angels themselves. However, there is another minor flaw within this gene seed, which gives the Marines completely white hair, and for those who succumb to the Black Rage, albino-like features. It is a common tradition, both within Purgatorius' aristocracy and within the chapter itself, to show the individual's rank by the length of their hair. The longer the hair, the more important the person. This peculiar way of expressing importance, along with the curly snow-white hair of the Marines, makes the majority of the chapter's warriors look like actual judges, further increasing their authoritarian look. Like their progenitors, the Blood Angels follow only partially to the guidelines of the Codex Astartes, and like the majority of the Blood Angels' successor chapters, they too have their own sanguinary guard and death company. The Blood Judges also diverge from Guilliman's Codex in their 3 major command roles. The role of Chapter Master is known as Master of the Court, and is currently occupied by Amadeus Eudex the Grave, who earned the title by surviving and exterminating the Dark Eldar raiding party responsible for the death of the previous Chapter Master, along with many other honourable battle brothers. The role of Chief Librarian is known as the Lord of Archives, and currently occupied by the powerful and long-living Librarian Dreadnought, Amatus Doctus, who is appointed within the administratum of both the chapter's Librarian and the Archive of Sin. Lastly, the roles of Chaplain and High Chaplain are respectively known as Interpreter and High Interpreter due to the fact that a chaplain's chaplaincy is delegated along with their ordinary duty of spiritual guiding, with the burden of scrupulously studying and interpreting the Imperium's most important and complicated documents, such as the Lectitio Divinitatis, Book of Judgment, and of course, the Codex Astartes. The members of the chaplaincy will choose and examine with unnatural attention to detail a specific volume, and after an entire year of study, the interpreters involved in the analysis will reunite with the High Interpreter and give him their opinion on the book and its meaning, leaving to the High Interpreter to decide if the volume is to be taken literally or figuratively, if it contains absolute rules to follow or simple guidelines, and most important of all, if the volume fits into the Imperial legal and spiritual structures, or if it simply has to be nullified. Due to the contradictory nature of the Book of Judgment, many of its volumes have been repudiated by the chapter's interpreters. This resulted in the current High Interpreter, Arnoldus Custos, collecting all volumes approved by the interpreters into a new, revised version of the Imperial Legal Code, called by the chapter the Imperator Verbum. The Blood Judges considered the Imperator Verbum to be the only true law of the Emperor, the original copy of the book being one of the most precious relics guarded by the Marines. However, the Astartes themselves keep from revealing the existence of this book to both the Inquisition and the High Lords of Terror, fearing to be accused, quite ironically, of violating and vandalizing Imperial law, easily resulting in the chapter being marked as traitorous.